Hello there! GM Lurchington here with another episode of Star Wars Showdown on Iceball Station. Yeah, Xavix has been brought back into Fishtown by Junior, and he has returned to the Expat Club. Worram and Zeef, let's catch up with you guys to see if you've been able to shore things up enough at the office, and then you can let Xavix know what's on the up and up. So, or we'll even say, Xavix, you're on your way back into town from the Hutt compound, and Junior has been he's been a little bit because you didn't bring it up with Spider, but he's brought it up to you now. He goes, I really appreciate the fact that you're trying to work with the boss, because we're trying. Vork thinks it's kind of cute, that the expats are doing their whole thing here, and we're not trying to twist anybody's nuts. But Zeef ain't a team player.
No.
Spider's been having me extend the olive branch to him for months now, it feels like it. I mean, things are even going to hell a little bit in Fishtown at this point. Zeef still keeps telling us to put a finger in our eye, so if you can do anything about that, I'd really appreciate it, They actually bring you around over towards Zeef's office, first. Just because he wants to, point out and go, look at this place. It looks like a fucking mess. If he'd been in with us, he would have had at least another couple of guys in here with him.
Well, I'll see what I can do and talk to him for you.
I just like to say, right now, as they're waiting, outside, they hear, this huge, angry, groaning grunt of an Ithorian coming from the open side.
Just like a bellow.
It's a bellow of anger, and then, a clatter of, a whole toolbox falling over.
And, Junior turns, looks out the window towards the commotion and then turns back to you and he goes, see what I mean? It feels like Zeef's making things a lot harder for himself than they need to be. And then he lets you out there. He goes, put a good word in it to you, will you?
Of course.
All right,
I smile
excellent.
and head towards the thing, grabbing Stomper
Cool.
with me as well.
He disappears to wherever it is in Fishtown that he lays his head when he's not at the outer bar of the Expat Club. Zeef, you haven't been able to determine that, and it's been a while now. You've looked,
okay.
But, Junior's got someplace to lay his head in town that you haven't found yet. All right, yeah. Worram, as Xavix comes into the bottom floor, do you head in for the front, or you head right around towards the tarp, Xavix?
I go to where I hear the noise.
All right, so you head around the side towards the tarp. Zeef, why don't you give me a mechanics check against
Okie day.
2 purples with a setback die to see if you've been able to secure the second entrance that Gil made into your garage through the wall, because just putting a shelving unit in front of it, you tried for 2 purples and a setback. Just moving a shelving unit in front of it, like you first, thought of. Worram was like, that's not going to actually work, right. Zeef. So you're going to actually have to attach things to things to seal this up. But
hey, let's see how it works. Oof.
No. So as you approach the side of the building, there's a tarp across a wall, or a hole that was blown in through the side wall of the garage area, and it's fluttering as Zeef is trying to hold up a board with one hand and drive it in with a tool with the other hand, and it's just not working as you make your way back there towards the garage, Xavix. Zeef, you drop the board, and when you bend to pick it up, you notice some feet underneath the tarp, and you come up, and Xavix is there in front of you.
Master Xavix, hello.
Well, hi there.
Stomper is there at his heel as well.
So I just finished my meeting with Spider.
Oh, how did that go?
I think I'll get everything I need or able to do the race. It seems like I have to wait on Vork to show up to actually do it. So they estimate that he'll be back in about 3 days' time.
At mention of this, Zeef's eye stalks kind of like perk up a little bit more alert, and he like pulls out a data pad and scribbles down this information.
That's new information.
Because Vork has been effectively AWOL for a long time, so he's immediately jots that down.
I'm surprised because you'd think that they would have mentioned something to you. It seems like they really, really want you in their ranks.
Yeah, they've been trying to get a hold of me for a while now. Problem is, they're only looking out for themselves. If I join them up, there'll be no one left over to look after people like Birdie here in Fishtown.
That makes sense.
They just don't seem to get it,
Well, maybe we can do something about that and kind of use them to help us out then.
What do you have in mind?
I'm thinking we can do something at this race. I can understand that this area might be secured to talk right now.
Yeah, we should take this conversation upstairs. At least that's not in a shambles, Don't pay no attention to the garage.
Worram, let's go ahead and get your mechanics check to see if that was a grunt, a bellow of frustration, or perhaps one of triumph. Because you might have succeeded and be available to join these gentlemen upstairs for their conversation.
That'd be so good if he just triumphantly roared and then kicked over the tool chest just out in victory. Just
He was so happy. The engines fired up and that thing jumped back off the ground and started floating there 1.5 feet out. He was like, "Yes, I have fire."
A couple of years ago, there were these commercials for the Snickers Feast. It was a bunch of historical characters driving up. There's one where the guy is at the gas station and out of victory, he picks up a trash can and throws it into the windshield of a car. But he does it victoriously. That's kind of just
yeah. And he's so happy that he got a perfect pump.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was waiting for Stomper to walk in and Worm was gonna go over and be like, thank God, somebody useful.
Well,
that could still happen.
Fair enough. But you've been working more, so let's let you take a mechanics check.
All right.
You know what I mean?
What's the difficulty gonna be?
I want to say hard.
That's fine.
You've got to remount the engines.
That's failed, honestly. So.
Yeah, right. Because it fits with what you had going. Yeah, the engines aren't they're dismounted. You know what I mean? So you can't even fire them up because if they are working, you don't want them to turn on in their current state anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And probably a boost for being in the workshop, I would imagine.
Yes, you've got tools. Yep, and you had time to organize them before you set about this.
Can Zeef give him a boost, or have I already gone upstairs with Xavix?
You were working. This is what he was doing while you were trying to catch the wall. Yeah. So you didn't succeed, right? You had enough advantage to see that the task in front of you is definitely more than you're going to be able to succeed at without a chain fall and a hoist and a lot more tools than you have in this garage.
Right.
The speeder is effectively non-functional until you can get it.
Actually, instead of that, how about we do? So kind of riffing off what I was saying before. I didn't get it, but it's partially because there's not enough power here to do
that works
recharge. And then when I see Stomper walk in, it's oh, thank God! Just
advantageously, Stomper is here now. Excellent, and that means the work that you need to do to attempt again won't take too long, and you can try again after they're done upstairs. So Worram is going to stay to continue working while Zeef and Xavix go upstairs. Zeef, you haven't brought back all of your notes that are still at the expat club.
Right.
But you head up to the office and you check, and the building has been, unmolested while you were absent. The cousins did a good job.
Sure, I figured they would.
Keep an eye on the place. All right,
cool.
So you head up into the office so that you can discuss what you think you might be able to get out of the huts on the backside of all this.
So we're back up. Oh, good.
Yeah, you're back upstairs in the office.
So I walk up, we're in the office, shut the door, turn to Zeef and say, well, before we get started, what's your interest in Vork and the Hutt Cartel? Besides them, not looking out for the greater good, I kind of feel like there might be something else.
Well, that's just it. I have no interest in Vork. I don't care about the cartel. I am just here to keep law and order in Fishtown and stop them from getting stepped on by a giant cartel that doesn't care about the little guy. Like, I don't have beef with Vork. Vork is quite fond of me as far as I know. Like, we get along pretty well. But Junior is trying to curry favor with his boss by being able to say, hey, look at me, I recruited Zeef. Which is just like a notch in his belt. He doesn't actually care. So I'm just trying to solve some murders that are happening in Fishtown since the cartel won't lift a finger about it. Meanwhile, they're trying to get me to abandon all these people and just work for them. So I guess that's what they don't get, is that there's no price, because that's not what I'm after,
Well, who do you think should be put in charge?
I don't know. I mean, right now, I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it. He says, like, standing in his broken down fucking building, like blaster marks on the outside. And
outside the window behind you, 3 stormtroopers walk by on the far side of the street. Just into shot across the window and out of shot.
It's perfectly
I'm doing
timed.
fine.
Well, my goal with this is to set up a race, increase the economy of the expat club that seemed like they were the business owners of the area here when it was doing decent, at least. And if we can get the Imperials out of here, and then the Hutt cartels would see this as more of an investment for them, we could get them out of here too. Unless it's too much of an investment, then maybe we can make it seem as if it's a poor investment.
I don't think we can get the Hutt cartel like straight up out of here.
No,
but we can engineer some sort of like right now there already is like a working relationship with them. We need to get rid of the remnant. I think the race might be the key to that. I think you're right. We can absolutely use this to get at least enough favor with the cartel to help us kick the remnant off the planet,
which would be the first problem.
Right, but at the same time, we do need to play nice with the cartel at least until we can get Worram's ship out of landlock. Because they currently have possession of his ship, and that's our way out of here.
All right, then I think we can use them for that.
Yeah, and Zeef knows enough to explain that up until the Remnant showed up and the expat club's finances, and their business model tanked. Yeah, Vork was perfectly happy to have them here because, this is not a travel destination, and most of what he makes is from the factory, and, he's not running races. He's got pit fights with the guys that work in the factory he owns.
Right, exactly.
But the expat is actually a thing that brings people to the planet, and some of that money ends up in his pockets anyway. And they've been here long enough that let's just say that you guys haven't gone into it enough to find out why he's respecting their he seems to consider that the expat club has their own sovereignty in Fishtown. And that's they've been here as long as the Hutts. So the factory was put here by the mining guild. Then the expat club set up. The Hutts didn't take possession of the factory from the mining guild until well after the expat had already been here. And they were doing well enough that they were we're not going to move in on them. We're just going to let them keep making money as long as we get our cut. Now the cut is nothing because the expats aren't making any money. And that's the big problem. Now they're we'll take over. They're not making money. We'll take over and make some money.
Well, maybe we can use the ISB, or since we'll have them all in close proximity, somehow instigate the ISB into messing with the cartel, and then we wouldn't even have to take them out of the town itself. The Hutts would do it for us.
Zeef's already kind of stirred that up.
Yeah, not against the cartel. I tried to get the Carcaros.
Yeah.
By sending the stormtroopers down there. I still don't know what came of that. I just know that they went down there and then came back up. That was just now while I was out at the office. So I haven't actually followed up on that yet. So I don't know.
Yeah, so that's new news to Xavix that Zeef managed to misdirect a whole squad of stormtroopers out to the bay on not even a wild goose, after a legitimate lead on the gangsters that are here that aren't from the Hutt Cartel, that he is also after.
Right.
The guys who hit him. the guys who hit him last night, but he doesn't know what's come of it. But Xavix does have the room number of, Agent Hot Pants.
That's
so he can
true.
always
That's
stop
true.
by
You could find out.
her suite when he goes back to the expat club.
Looks like I might have to do some flirting on the way in.
Calculated flirting.
Calculated flirting. Or
Yes,
maybe she's just willing to give up the information. Who knows? I'm sure an ISB agent is
Oh yeah, it's
talkative.
not going to be a
Open
hard
book.
die pool at all to try to make social checks against. Exactly. All right, Worram. Now that you've got the stomp with you, are you able to get the speeder off the deck and at least serving the purpose that a speeder needs to serve, even if it is a heavily damaged? Does it work as a speeder at this point?
So,
you know what I mean?
I just want to do a little in character set the
Absolutely.
scene. Absolutely. So Worram was like working underneath, what he could get
all day.
He saw the feet of Xavix walk in, and then Zeef was talking with him. He heard all that and saw him leave. And he has been having no luck. He got angry earlier when he realized he didn't have enough power running through the circuit breaker here to jumpstart the engine and get it going. And he kicked over one of the toolboxes in his frustration. And so he gets up. You see hands, and just when he does so, he hears a little gonking noise from behind the tarp as Stomper waddles in several minutes after Xavix, and he's so happy to see Stomper right now. This is just who he needs, and he just runs over to him, scoops him up in his hands, and just carries him right back, puts him down next to the speeder, and is like, "All right, Stomp, we got this.
All right,
Let's get it running again."
You cable Stomper into the power coil of the speeder here, and definitely once the repulsor coil went out and we're no longer recharging the main ignition battery, it makes perfect sense that this thing would have gone dead, especially since it's been sitting for a day and a half in the cold. Repulsor, we never see a repulsor lift vehicle turn off its main float coils. It's just not supposed to happen. You get Stomper wired in there, it's only going to be an average difficulty check to get these main drive coils up. It didn't take too much, damage, but enough certainly to turn it from something that is a speeder to something that does not work as a speeder. But you've got two boosts here, you've got your tools, you've got Stomper hooked in. There will be a purple a setback on top of the purples here, because it's not just physical work. These batteries have been sitting cold for a while, so it'll be purple setback, and you might be able to remove that anyway. I'm not sure what your mechanic talent setup is.
Stomper might actually. What does he have, Zeef? I feel like he has something for working on vehicles or something.
And something specifically for working on power systems beyond
I
that.
have
Just
the basic mechanics. I have Tinkerer, that doesn't really help.
No, I was saying for Stomper.
Stomper.
Oh, for Stomper. Hold on.
I feel like he has something for removing setbacks when he's working on
power systems. Specifically, he is kitted to work on.
Be one of his gear items or something.
I don't know. He just has a Word document. This isn't like
hold
the
on.
same way as the character sheet, so I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
Default equipment package. He's got a built-in generator, can recharge stuff. Power diagnostics package, minus setback to repair strain on a starship or vehicle. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there you go. Cool.
Because this isn't physical hull damage. This is definitely strain.
Yeah. No good.
Power flows from Stomper into the depleted ignition cells of the repulsor lift, but when you try to turn it over, they're still too flat to engage. He's going to have to remain hooked up here overnight. It
makes that sound the Falcon does when Han's trying to turn it over on Hoth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Exactly. It just won't turn over. And we're gonna end on that slightly
Okay.
sour note. Just meta, I assume Xavix is going back to the expat.
Yeah, I think I would head back to the expat. I'll talk to the ISB agent and speak to Coldbar.
Right. That'll be it for the night, guys. We are going to do expat because it's practically the end of the day, except for just a couple of conversations that we're going to have. Narset accomplished a big tick on her Salvage side quest, and Xavix also moved the ball forward via his successful negotiations with Spider. Listen, you didn't get any of the extra shit you asked for, but he was ready to sign off. Once Vork gave the okay, he was ready to sign off on this from the get-go. All of your roles were about, like, what more can I get from him? You didn't get that, but you didn't sour the pot enough for him to be like, no, you've generated 16 threat during this conversation, and we've decided not to do it with you at all, you know? So you still have moved, you're one notch closer to actually getting this race off. So 5 bonus XP from each of the Jedi will bring your total up to 30 XP this time.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, do we